Good afternoon, all of you. This is another case based review. This is a 45 years old male patient, had history of trauma a few months back, persistent pain since then. So, we have done MRI wrist joint. You can do T1, T2, PD fat sat. PD fat sat is more friendly for interpretation. PD without fat sat is good for anatomy and correlation with PD fat sat. Gradient is very useful for the ligament assessment. Cartilage sequences are useful. Less field of view is more desirable, which is practical with your machine. Dedicated coils would yield more benefit for the smaller structures. Here, what we can see is anatomically, this is mainly to discuss TFCC injury today. TFCC complex is divided into three parts mainly. Multiple components are there. TFC, triangular fibrocartilage itself, which is a central part, and distal radioulnar ligaments, which is dorsal and ventral, and a peripheral ulnocarpal ligamentous complex. So, considering all these three big components with subcomponents, it is called TFCC. Otherwise, it is called triangular fibrocartilage alone if it is only this structure. So, this structure, this is the main TFC, triangular fibrocartilage or disc. This has both radial attachment and ulnar attachment. This is the radial attachment, which appears reasonably okay, and ulnar attachment has got called triangular ligament, which has got two components, upper component, lower component. Some people describe or others describe as ulnar styloid part and foveal part. Between this, there is a natural gap which might not be interpreted, which should not be interpreted as a tear within that. Here you can see, to me, both component appears significantly sprained, but part of the ligament, majority of the fibers appears intact, which could be chronic tear, partial tear with secondary mucoid degeneration. That's what my interpretation or understanding. So, the radial attachment is maintained, ulnar attachment, two component is showing sprain for the TFC, and with early mucoid degeneration, which appears to be a chronic partial tear. After this, what you need to assess is distal radioulnar ligaments. If you see, this is palmar side or ventral side, this appears intact, whereas if you go to the dorsal side, dorsal radioulnar ligament appears grade 1 sprain, which is better seen in the sagittal in this particular case. However, there is no significant subluxation. After that, the third, after this component, there are two ligaments which goes to the ulna to the adjacent carpal bones need to be assessed. That comes from the TFC towards triquetral. This is ulnar triquetral ligament, and the other one is luno-ulnate ligament. These two appears relatively intact, these two ligaments. So, we need to see both ulnar TFC attachment to this particular carpal bones. If you go to the periphery, you can see some hyperintensity here. That is the place for ulnar collateral ligament and meniscus homologue. These are also components of ulnocarpal ligament complex. These also shows hyperintensity, which indicates a tear within there. So, a must structure not to miss structure is adjacent extensor carpi ulnaris, which is showing, that is you can assess axially as well as in coronal plane. At least all the structures need to be confirmed, or pathologies need to be confirmed in two planes. That gives better yield. There is edema surrounding extensor carpi ulnaris with surrounding soft tissue edema, which could be tenosynovitis. This is one of the tendons which gets dislocated, subluxed, which is coming slightly out, but it's acceptable, not significant dislocation. While assessing, this is all about TFCC complex. All the components you may not see discretely. Acute trauma, the edema masks the individual discretion, and chronic, the fibrosis, edema, and degeneration may obscure the finer details of individual component. Not to miss the other important things like dislocation of the distal radioulnar joint. Normally, they are not completely in complete filling of ball and socket type arrangements. There is some malalignment physiologically. 25% of malalignment is acceptable. If it is more than 25%, maybe subluxation. After that, you can call dislocation. That need to be checked. More importantly, the fractures at these structures need to be evaluated. Adjacent bones, vascular necrosis, which could be much more important in practical scenario. This need to be assessed. Small hyperintensity subarticularly can be ignored. Synovial details. So all the individual components need to be searched for. We need to know the anatomy before in hand. Then you can justify the better understanding of this individual ligament spine. There is a popular classification called Palmer classification. You can categorize our lesion into one of this particular category grading. Thank you very much.